For it to turn 9:30 on the clock. No, I say 9:30. Sure. Yeah. I think we only have 3 seconds left.
There you go.
All right. Good morning and welcome everyone to the meeting of the Pittsburgh Regional Transit Board. It's November 21st, 2025. I'm going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on to roll call. First, I'd like to welcome our new member, Member Suhinsky. Thank you. Member Fan. Present. Member Totten.
Present.
Member Bergender.
Present.
Okay, online, we have Member Suker.
Present.
Dr. Purcellus.
Present.
Senator Williams.
Present.
Member McClenny.
Present.
Senator Abney.
Here.
And Member Turman.
Here.
Thank you very much. Okay, first order of business is the approval of the October 24th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. May I have a motion to approve? Bring a motion to second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Our next item of business is our report of our Chief Executive Officer, Catherine Kellerman. Catherine?
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members, everyone in attendance. Let me start off by saying my mother gave me this pen, so you can't say anything bad about my pen without saying something bad about my mother. I just want you to think about that. Last month, I inadvertently read the names of employees who had retired as employees who had passed. I'm certain for the people who had retired, who were told they were dead, that was very shocking. Jokes aside, I'm very sorry. So now may I please have a moment of silence for the corrected list of retired employees who have passed since the end of August. Operators Gary Bruce, Dale Chaskey, Ronald DeFelice, Robert Ferguson, Howard Kopellick, Paul M. Schuster Jr., and Glenn Troop. Dispatcher John Finnegan, automotive mechanics Robert Aitken, Richard Bagley, Joseph Devlin, Frank Rodriguez, and Dwight Wright. Machinist George T. Brown, heavy equipment operator, maintainer Thomas Assel, instructor Dennis Martin, seat and sign repair person Charles Jefferson, assistant director of bus and rail training Tanya Stars, garage attendant Leo Pollock, sign painter Eileen Grando, first line supervisor Robert F. Wessel, and active employees operator infrastructure support technician and operator Darren Morris, and then Jeff Zito. I knew Jeff personally, as many of us did here at Hines, and we absolutely miss him, and we give our condolences to not just Jeff's family, but everybody's family. So if we can have a moment of silence to remember them, I would appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Trans Awareness Week to everyone who celebrates. And let's start off with the Mount Washington Tunnel update. Mount Washington Tunnel. We love our aging infrastructure. We talk about this with you a lot. We've shared with the media and with our passengers that our tunnel, we plan to have open by the October 19th schedule change. Late September, the 27th, we discovered that it was not going to open on time. We did not have a concrete, you should pardon the pun, time frame. We are now comfortable saying late December. I'd love to give you a date, but I guarantee once I give you a date, something will happen. I also want to clarify, once the tunnel repair is complete, we will then have inspections, and then we will be training our staff on this. We have hired a lot of folks this year who have never driven through the transit tunnel. And whether you are a bus operator or a train operator, you need to be trained on what has changed and what is new. And then after that point, we can get the trains back onto regular service. Yay for many reasons. The main one is that our software that tracks our detours doesn't track train detours, because trains don't usually detour. They just stop. So this will give us the opportunity to get accurate information back out to folks. We know it has been a long slog. And I could wax poetic on infrastructure and tariffs and the whole nine, but you deserve service you can rely on, and this is a step closer to that. So no more service in Allentown for the folks who will miss that, but being back on schedule. So thank you to everyone, especially our staff who's been dealing with this wear and tear all year. And so let's talk about the state budget now. Last week, Governor Shapiro signed the 25-26 state budget, which ended a 135-day impasse. And the conclusion of the budget process brings a lot of relief around the Commonwealth. So we're very happy for our friends who've been waiting on this funding security to be able to move forward. It does not end the conversation on transit, however. The governor's budget, the governor proposed in the past 2 years several times to increase funding for transit. This did not make it into the budget, and we have shared with the board and our communities that we are making the next 2 years by waiving over $100 million in capital, putting it together with reserves, and covering our service for the next 2 years. The decision not to add additional funding for transit has consequences not just for us, but for the 1.7 million Pennsylvanians who rely on transit every year, the individuals. Here at PRT alone, we will top 30. We did about 37 million trips last year. More people rode PRT buses than Amtrak in the entire country. So I think we should brag about that. Transit is essential, but it's not inevitable. It needs reliable long-term funding to exist. So where this leaves us is last year, in the face of rising costs and a frozen funding structure, we warned what a lack of investment would look like. We had conversations about at that point, over $110 million annual funding gap on a 10-year horizon, what that would look like for Pittsburgh and Allegheny County if we were not able to cover that. It remained a big gap over the 10 years. We still are looking at circumstances where we could cut up to 40% service, if not more, and have drastic fare increases. Our legislators heard us. They understood the severity, and PennDOT authorized a waiver for us for capital to be able to survive the next 2 years. We are grateful for this flexibility. It's prevented catastrophic cuts and catastrophic fare increases. It's kept people connected to work, school, and healthcare, but this is a Band-Aid. This is not a long-term solution. And just as folks deserve a reliable train and reliable service, they deserve the reliable investment that makes these things happen. This is like using the money you set aside to replace the furnace to pay for the electric bill. It solves a problem today, but it doesn't solve the long-term problem. It's temporary, it's unsustainable, and it accelerates the gap that we have to fill. Because in 2 years, the gap between what our budget is and what it costs to run this agency will be wider than it is today. Without new ongoing investment, we will fall back to the red in just a few years, and we are not taking this lightly. We know what's at stake. The people who rely on transit are the people who make this region work. Nurses, students, airport employees, hospital workers, seniors, people with disabilities, tens of thousands more people who need reliable service. It is the 2,600 employees who pay their mortgage and send their kids to school. It's the 3,000 retirees we support, and it's all the small businesses and local businesses here that are very much funded by the money we spent. The over $100 million we've spent in Westmoreland County in the past 5 years alone. We spend a lot of money. We keep the region going. So public transit is not just a social service. It is an economic engine. More than 1 in 5 residents here in Pittsburgh depend on transit, and in some neighborhoods, that's closer to half. We support all our labor forces. We support development, reducing congestion, and connecting employers to talent. And we're the backbone of equitable mobility in Allegheny County. Allegheny County's only growth in the past decades has come from immigrants, and many of those from outside of the country. These are folks who move here looking for and expecting a reliable network so they can't drive. If we want to survive, we need strong public transportation. So where do we go from here? First, we will absolutely continue advocating. So Senator Williams, love you, so sorry, you're going to see us an awful lot. We will use our voice to support every transit agency in the Commonwealth. Every county has transit services. And while a flex takes care of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh for 2 years, our friends in Washington and Westmoreland and Lackawanna and Erie do not have the same ability to flex. And we are all in the same boat to make sure that these services are covered and that our friends have the resources they need so we can connect together. We're not waiting for Harrisburg to fix everything. We heard definitely clearly from our legislators, improve reliability, improve performance, improve efficiency, continue to change for the better. Change for good. Can I be part of Wicked? So we can change for good. So we're moving forward with bus line redesign, which is our opportunity to reshape the network based on today's demand, not 20, 30, or 160 years ago. I'd have to say I'm really excited about bus line redesign. Our first iteration had nearly 100 community meetings. Whew. 48 meetings with staff at bus garages alone, separate from those community meetings. We have been everywhere. We got a lot of really good feedback, and I'm optimistic that when we're back out in January, February of next year, folks will see how their comment has been incorporated and changed what that ultimate product will be. We don't own the service, we just run it. Our communities own it. So I'm really excited for this. It's great that it fits the bill of what our legislators are looking for, but better, it's the right thing to do for our communities. This will actually get us to where our riders want to go. It will increase the number of jobs accessible to transit and the number of folks who have access to transit too, without significantly increasing our operating costs. So a yay all around. It's the biggest system-wide improvement we've undertaken in decades, and I want to stress, separate from our TDP nearly 20 years ago, this is based on service being neutral. This is not based on huge influxes of cash that we can't guarantee that mean the ultimate end of that project was a service reduction. This is very different, so we're excited about it. Continuing to focus on basics, you will continue to see updated schedules, a lot of focus on runtime, not just for passengers, but for our operators who deserve to get off, get their blood pressure down, go to the restroom, get a snack. Scheduling it supports all of these folks. We're continuing to focus on the rider experience, from cleaner vehicles to clearer information about transfers, always opportunities to do better on detours. And next year, we're not just rolling out a new smart card that makes riding the bus or T a little more convenient. We'll be adding near field communication. So yes, give us your MasterCard. That'll work for us. When we get the right thing, the little things right, the big things fall in place. Ridership grows, people see how convenient and reliable we are, and transit, which is already reliable and necessary, becomes indispensable. And when transit is indispensable, funding becomes unavoidable. So until then, we're tightening up, modernizing systems, and doing everything in our control to protect the system and delivering better for you. But we cannot cut or efficiency ourselves out of this kind of funding gap. That will require leadership from the legislature, and we will continue to show with data, results, and stories from real people how transit invests in Pennsylvania. So we're not giving up. We're not backing down. We're not standing still. The mother who gave me this pen raised me to do more than that. Transit moves people, and right now, our region needs to move forward. So, Madam Chair, if there's any questions, that concludes my remarks.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the report of the Performance and Oversight Committee. Member McClenny.
Good morning, Madam Chair, fellow board members, and everyone present. The Performance Oversight Committee met last week, and I have 2 resolutions for the board's consideration. The committee first reviewed 3 procurement items and determined the bids to be in accordance with PRT's procurement policies and procedures and the prices to be fair and reasonable. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends authorizing the award of the bids listed in the resolution for the total amount of $1,625,665. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Thank you. With that, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second. Motion is second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
The next resolution for your consideration would authorize PRT to enter into an agreement to provide on-call environmental services. As a result of a review of the proposals received, including an informational meeting, PRT's committee identified Collective Efforts LLC as the highest rated proposer to perform the services. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends entering into an agreement with Collective Efforts LLC for a total not to exceed amount of $2,200,000 to be allocated on an as-needed basis through task-specific work orders for an initial 4-year period with the option of extending the agreement term up to 1 additional 1-year period at the sole discretion of PRT. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. I'll take a motion.
Motion. Second.
Hearing a motion is second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Once a year, typically in November, PennDOT representatives provide the committee with an overview of the State Safety Oversight Agency's functions and a review of their work during the last year. At this month's meeting, the representatives mentioned that although SSOA's purpose is providing safety oversight of the fixed guideway transit system, the maintenance of a safe system is really a collaborative effort between PennDOT and PRT's safety and police departments, as well as PRT's management team for the operations and engineering departments. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Our next report will be the report of the Planning and Stakeholders Relations Committee. Member Fan will be giving the report today. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Liptak, fellow board members and stakeholders. The Planning and Stakeholder Relations Committee met last week. I have no resolutions for the board's consideration this month, but I do have 3 updates for the board. First, staff presented the fiscal year 2025 annual service report. The report for fiscal year 2025 evaluates performance against board-adopted service standards using ridership, crowding, on-time performance, and out-of-service information, as well as equity and Title VI analysis. Noteworthy items from the report included stable ridership levels with growth beginning to occur in the spring, a decrease in crowded trips. On-time performance is not yet meeting goals, but an improvement strategy is underway. A significant reduction in the percentage of time a bus or train was out of service. A full copy of the report is available on PRT's website. Staff then presented a quarterly update on the University BRT project. Phase 1 of the construction in downtown is near completion, and Phase 2 of construction in Uptown in Oakland is about 20% complete. Early data shows that buses are running 2 minutes faster in Uptown and downtown following completion of the downtown construction work. This is an early data trend, and PRT will continue to provide updates on reliability improvements seen by the project. Finally, staff presented an update on the light rail station area improvement plans. To address PRT's long-range plan recommendations surrounding accessibility, PRT established the Light Rail Accessibility Program in 2024. The program will begin at the St. Anne and Bethel Village stations, for which PRT received 2 grants from the FTA to assist in this goal. The program was set up to help transit agencies address accessibility for stations built prior to the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act in 1990. Numerous engagement meetings took place, and an online presence was established to inform and engage stakeholders. These projects will be in development for several years and will remain subject to funding and completion of all necessary design and construction steps. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Fan. Our next report is of the Finance Committee. Our Chair Shakir.
Good morning, Madam Chair and fellow board members. The Finance Committee met last week, and there was a review of the October 2025 financial results. It was reported that total operating income for October was over budget by approximately $100,000 due to higher interest income. The total expenses for October were below budget by $3.5 million due to vacant positions and lower purchase services and materials and supplies expenses. Through October, total operating income was about $400,000 higher than last fiscal year due to higher interest income and advertising revenue. Total expenses through October were $3.1 million higher than last fiscal year due to higher employee benefits, specifically an increase in pension and healthcare expenses. Total subsidy through October was $52 million higher than last fiscal year due to a timing difference related to state operating assistance. Finally, it was reported that PRT ended October with $304.7 million in operating reserves. Unless there are any other questions or comments, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Our next report will be of the Technology Committee. Chair Bergender.
Good morning, Chair and fellow board members. The Technology Committee met on November 13th, and I have one resolution for your consideration today. The committee reviewed one bid for PRI and auxiliary telephony services using State COSTAR's contract. The committee determined the bid to be in accordance with PRT's procurement policies and procedures, and the price both fair and reasonable. The Technology Committee recommends the award of the item as listed in the resolution for the total amount of $100,386. My fellow members, I respectfully request that the board approve this resolution.
Thank you. With that, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Hearing a motion in a second. Any questions or discussion?
I abstain from the vote. This is Tia McClinney. It's out of caution because my job may involve a competitor.
Thank you. Will please note that. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And please note the abstention from Member McClinney for the record. Thank you. Next, we'll be moving on to
Oh.
public comment.
Well, not quite.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Follow-
My apologies.
Following the presentation of the proposed resolution, the committee was presented with the Ready Fair, Fair Refresh Communications Plan. That concludes my report.
Thank you. My apologies again,
No problem.
Chair. Okay, next we're moving on to public comment. Our first speaker is Andrew Hussein. Is Andrew online? Andrew Hussein. Andrew's not online? Okay. Rodney Sanford. Under public comment, Rodney Sanford. And we're not seeing Mr. Sanford online, okay. Laura Chu Weens. Laura, are you online?
I am. Good morning, Board
Good
of
morning, Laura.
Directors. My name is Laura Chu Weens. I'm the Director of Pittsburghers for Public Transit. The 2025 service report disclosed that PRT ridership has plateaued and declined this year from last, just as it did the year prior. PRT ridership is now only about 60% of pre-COVID levels, a national anomaly. On average, U.S. transit systems have recovered 85% of 2019 ridership and are continuing to climb every year. Some agencies have even surpassed pre-pandemic ridership by making targeted service improvements and/or advancing new fare programs like employer passes or low-income and zero-fare programs. Note that most other transit systems have not done network redesigns these last few years, and their ridership restoration was not contingent on upending the existing bus network. PRT's service reliability has also plateaued, with a bus on-time performance average of 66%. We've said many times, we'll continue to say, this is because of unrealistic written schedules and not due to transit workers' shortcomings. That means across the bus network, buses are not showing up as expected 1/3 of the time. This is on top of the fact that time points have been eradicated in recent years, so the evaluation of whether buses are on time is happening at only a handful of stops on any given route. The lack of time points and PRT's minimal accountability to this metric make it additionally hard for riders to anticipate arrival times for the majority of bus stops and to time transfers between routes. PRT's service reports have failed to register the gravity of our ridership and reliability crisis, excusing them as the result of various one-off issues: construction, worker shortfalls, app counting errors. In the case of the 66% bus on-time performance average this year, there's no reason identified and therefore no presumed mechanism for improving it. Last year, the annual service report did register the short turning of the 71 and 61 buses in Oakland as a major contributor to the ridership drop and bus crowding, and then proceeded to do nothing about it. The public, your riders, need you to put forward goals and a vision for increasing ridership and access to transit, restoring service, and for improving service reliability. That requires an assessment of why PRT is doing so poorly compared to peers, and a plan for what steps need to be taken to fix them. We want to imagine and then realize a transit system that is so much better. Which brings me to the bus line redesign. I want to name 4 key concerns about implementing the bus line redesign now. 1, a cost-neutral bus line redesign will lock in austerity-level service, forcing some neighborhoods to cut service in order to expand to other communities. And the lack of dedicated, expanded, and sustainable funding will make it likely that it will be only partially implemented, which is what happened with the last redesign, the TDP in 2008, whose implementation was aborted when funding didn't materialize. 2, if PRT cannot get current schedules right, how can we trust that you will be able to build an entirely new map of functional bus schedules? 3, major bus changes, no matter how positive these changes are, will cause ridership loss at the outset. We are already starting at such a ridership deficit. And 4, PRT can and does already make major bus service adjustments now, even in the absence of a network redesign. You have the ability to change service frequencies, eliminate routes, reroute buses, during the thrice yearly schedule changes. If anything, PRT is already overzealous in changing schedules for more than 50 routes in a regular service change. So what is inhibiting PRT from making critical adjustments immediately? Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is John Tagg. Mr. Tagg,
Yeah.
are you
Uh,
online? Hello?
Hello. Good morning, Madam Chair and board members. First of all, Catherine, I think that's the greatest pen I've ever seen. The only reason I wanted to join the call was basically to thank staff for the hard work that they put into putting out the service standards. That's the only comments I had.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Tagg. Moving on, our next speaker is Eric Gondella. Eric Gondella. Not online? Okay. Thank you. Just let me know if anyone pops on as we continue. The next item of business is new business. That's me. I just wanted to note a few things under new business, and then I have recognition that I also would like to present on behalf of the board. So first, standing committee appointments pursuant to the PRT bylaws. As board chair, I've made certain appointments to the board's standing committees. I'd like to share those appointments with you today. Board member Bobby Fan has been appointed to the Technology Committee. Thank you for your continued service. Board members Dr. Bursellis and Laura Suhinski will be appointed to the Financial Audit Committee. Thank you both for your service. And board members Laura Suhinski has been appointed to the Performance and Oversight and Monitoring Committee. Again, thank you all members for your participation and continued support of our committees and our system. Next, I have appointment of the nominating committee. So we appoint a nominating committee for the identification and recommendations for board officers and candidates, and this will be for 2026. The election of the board officers shall take place in our upcoming January annual meeting in accordance with our bylaws. I hereby appoint the following to serve on a nominating committee for 2026. The chair of the committee will be Stephanie Turman. Dr. Chris Bacelis will serve on the committee, and Tia McClenny will also serve on that committee. I'd like to thank those members and the chair for their continued support and assistance with this important function of our board. Now we move on to one final item that I have. And I'm going to actually go to the podium, and I'm going to make someone come to the podium with me who's not going to want to come to the podium. Mr. Garfinkel, Sandy, the man to my left, he doesn't like to say much, which is probably a good thing as a solicitor, but this will be his last meeting, so we'd like to honor him with some recognition for his service to the board and to our citizens of the county. So if that's okay, I'm going to go up to the podium, and we're going to make Sandy come with him. Okay, on behalf of the board, I do have presentation, and I will say this. I've been with Sandy for some time, and as a pretty long-standing member, I think I've been on the board since 17. I believe that was when I began on the board. And his predecessor was a gentleman by the name of Joel Lennon, who was amazing and fantastic. And when we lost Joel, it was how are we going to ever replace him? I never thought we could, but I mean, Sandy, you're fantastic. And it was a seamless transition. And I've been so grateful to your support, your counsel, your soft suggestions sometimes to make sure that things are done properly. And it's been really, really, really wonderful to work with someone like you. And I've learned a lot from you personally. So thank you. And I will also like to say that the way you have transitioned our incoming solicitor, Amanda Kraft, has been wonderful. I think as board members, we felt very comfortable allowing for that transition. You've done it over a year, and I know you've been involved even before that, but I want to thank you for your thoughtfulness in that capacity. And if I may, I'd like to, on behalf of the board, honor Sandy. Whereas Sandy B. Garfinkel, Esquire, has served as a solicitor for the Board of Port Authority of Allegheny County, also known as Pittsburgh Regional Transit, since November of 2019. And whereas after a long and distinguished legal career spanning over 3 decades, Mr. Garfinkel is retiring from the practice of law at the end of the calendar year 2025. Can I cancel that? Whereas in addition to serving as solicitor for the board for over 6 years, Mr. Garfinkel has also represented PRT in several high-profile matters and projects over the past several decades, including providing PRT critical advice and support, accomplishing the acquisition of the right-of-way for several parcels of property necessary to complete the ongoing University Bus Line, or also known as the BRT project. Whereas Mr. Garfinkel earned his bachelor's degree from Emory University and his Juris Doctorate from Duquesne University School of Law. And whereas Mr. Garfinkel currently is a partner at the law firm McNees, Wallace, and Nurek, LLC, a full-service law firm with a team of over 150 attorneys and a rich history dating back to 1935. Mr. Garfinkel serves as co-chair of McNees Privacy and Data Security Group. And whereas prior to joining McNees, Mr. Garfinkel founded a data security and privacy group at an AM Law 200 firm, where he served as the chair of that group. And whereas the board wishes to express its sincere gratitude and deep appreciation to Mr. Garfield for serving as the solicitor of the board for over 6 years and for diligently and professionally representing PRT on a variety of critical legal matters for several decades, and his dedication to distinguished service to this board, PRT, and to the people of Allegheny County. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this resolution is adopted in honor and in appreciation of Sandy B. Garfinkel, Esquire, for his service of the board, PRT, and the riders and residents of Allegheny County, and in recognition of his distinguished legal career as well. So the board wishes to thank you and you for your dedicated service and wishes you well in your retirement, even though I oppose the retirement. So we have this for you. It's a very fancy proclamation. And I'm going to make you get a photograph. And I believe do we have something else for you as well, please? Catherine, do you want to come up and please? All kinds of prizes. Okay, let's see. Be good lighting for us.
Like out from under the TV.
And a little happy, right?
I'll do one more. Thanks.
Sandy, I'd like to offer you a moment to say some words if you'd like, for the board.
Well, I've never been to the podium before.
No way, Sandy.
First of all, this is beautiful. I'm very surprised and very honored. Thank you so much for pulling this together and making this such a special last meeting for me. I can't tell you what an honor it's been to work with a client like this. Not every lawyer is fortunate to have this kind of relationship over the course of their career with a client that is so dedicated to its mission, works closely, is responsive. Everybody in the agency I've worked with has been a positive experience. Mike, you've been fantastic from the very beginning, helping me transition into this job after Joel Lennon's tenure here, which was not an easy set of shoes to fill, as Chair Liptak mentioned. But it's been nothing but wonderful working with you all. Catherine, wonderful leader, endless energy. I'll miss Mike's emails at 11 or 1 o'clock in the morning, but you can send them to Amanda now. The board, you're a dedicated group of wonderful professional people that do enormous work to guide this agency through good times and bad. So it's been an honor working with you all as well. And I just want to thank you for this experience, which has made my final 7 or 8 years of practice really special. So thank you very much.
It was lovely. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. We will miss you if I can speak on behalf of the board. With that, that concludes our meeting for today. So our next meeting is scheduled for Friday, January 30th, to allow for time for people to spend to celebrate their holiday. So I'd like to, on behalf of the board, wish everyone a safe, happy holiday season. And with that, we are adjourned for today. Thank you.